it up. Hey, raise it up. Why? Raise it up. Raise it up. Why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up. Why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up. Why? Raise it up. North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. West side, raise it up. 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 North side, raise it up. South side, raise it up. East side, raise it up. The west side, raise it up. 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 Hey loves, hey loves, hey loves. My name is Wyann Vaughn. I also go by Y, and this is another incredible, spectacular episode of Raise It Up Y, the podcast. We are coming at you the last Thursday of August 2023 in an episode I'm still deciding what I want to call for sure. However, it's going to be something to the effect of happy hip hop as well as Ali. I'm not even going to act like there's no belaboring the point. If you are on YouTube, first of all, thank you for your non-refundable time and energy, as well as all of my loves who listen on everywhere you can consume podcasts. But YouTube, the cat's out of the bag. I am sitting here with one of my favorite humans in this industry. His name is Ali Shaheed Muhammad. He is who I call the Zen Master. You will learn more about that why in just a moment and everything. I don't care if you are listening on, you have to at least take a gander at this episode because we're in his studio. This is a pleasure for me personally because I'm not going to speak for you, but I'm going to say you're probably a more private
private.
Right? Aren't you a pretty private person?
Very private.
Very private. And
except for when I'm on stage or having conversations like this. But yes.
Yeah.
I like it like that.
Listen, I'm not even gonna get into the episode because I'm gonna do a little, intro and all that fun stuff for the pod like we always do. However, this episode will be just a little different. We're not going through all of the segments like we generally do. I'm really only here to give you all a taste of the gratitude, the thankfulness, and everything that I gain by knowing this gentleman. And because hip hop just turned 50, everybody's doing something pretty spectacular with their platforms and stuff. And you were around since before I started this podcast, clearly, when I was on Dre's and everything. Yeah. And when I started this, I don't know what it is. I've always wanted to protect y'all. Like between you, Terrence I've had on, but Terrence, talk about a brother. Like, I've known him since I was 16, so it doesn't even feel the same sort of a thing. But he's that dude. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to belittle my guy. He's performing tonight actually at a spot in NoHo called The Verse.
Oh, Verse.
Are you hip to that?
I love that spot.
So I was gonna RSVP. You have to RSVP for that place. Because it's small.
No, you do have to make a reservation. But no, that's like I'm sad that it's getting more popular because it's like it would be my go-to spot. Like it's such a cool little restaurant, nice food.
Really?
Nice little jazz band that plays.
Terrace is there.
And Terrace, yeah. And
he's been doing Wednesdays.
Other notable artists that come in on the low. It's a dope spot. Okay.
I'm gonna ask you more about that in a minute because that's I think it's The Verse or Verse? Verse. Okay. Shouts out to Terrace Martin. If anyone gets to see him live, I suggest that you do that. Only in the next couple weeks he'll be in Japan. You just came from Japan.
I did.
So he's running right over there. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to give you an exclusive feel of, like I said, something that I always am so privileged to get with my friends. The point about that privacy thing is this is going to sound awful. I don't like sharing y'all. I don't like sharing y'all with the general public. Exhibit told me something. I wanted him to come do the hip hop forum, which we'll get into in a second. When I was doing it at the school where I used to teach. And he said, why I would come and do it. He said, but niggas ain't listening. They want to see a famous person talk. They're not listening. That's how he felt. You see?
Yeah.
How we feel about that, we can talk in a second. But
okay.
I just, once he told me that, and that was some years ago when he said that, and I'm like, I don't ever want my friends to feel like I'm putting them on a podcast with me to be a talking head. Like, we have a population called Love Culture. They're the
Mm-hmm.
people who support this pod. And we're unified by a couple things. One, listening to this. Raise It Up Why. If you're new here, thank you for coming and sharing your non-refundable time and energy. What we do here is have OGs on to edutain, real ones only. Real ones are individuals who look to see what they are in life. They make radical acceptance of where they are in life, and they attempt to go further in whatever direction that they decide to go from once they know where they are. It's so hard to want to go somewhere if you don't know where you are in relation,
It's true.
you know.
I'm happy to be here.
What?
Simple as that. So we can get into whatever you want to get into.
I love this human. And we raise up your self-awareness, your vibration, your capacity for love, which is knowledge. We do that with non-corny or authentic positivity from the West Coast, which is where we are. We know this is a New York gentleman. However, from the West Coast to the world. And right before we go in, what we do is ground. We ground everyone listening. We ground the pod. This is something that you have, of course, an option. This is always an invitation, like everything I do, never a request. To invite you into the space. Grounding, for people who don't know, is a technique where you bring your presence of mind with your body and your spirit all into the same space. So I want you to take a moment to be here with me. I want you to close your eyes and really feel your body all the way down to your feet. And just to be evident about that, with or without shoes on, go ahead and wiggle your toes. And if you feel silly, touch your nose. And you're just doing those things to recognize that you are here, presently here. Go ahead and breathe a breath in, blow a breath out. Do that again in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just take a moment to own this. This is a miracle we call life, that you are living, you are winning just by being here with us here in this life, just by spending this time with my voice right now. You are investing into your betterment. I want you to sit with that and feel proud. Feel proud. And let's go up with Ali Shaheed Muhammad. We're here, man.
We're up.
We are up. We've ascended. What is it? Boom. Now the all of your your damn you can take off your seatbelts
Seatbelts.
now. Yeah, fuck
Okay.
that. So all of my following, I told you this, all of my following knows every August, because my podcast only comes out once a month. Every August since 2019 when we started this, we make mention in our episode that it's your birthday and hip hop's birthday, which happened to coincide and be on the same day.
Yes.
Did this birthday feel differently because it was the 50th birthday of hip hop as well?
It did feel a little bit different. The fact that I was raised on hip hop, like you talk about often, and to know what the culture has done just in existing in this plane
Yeah.
in America means a lot to me. And then factor in the fact that I contributed to it also meant a little bit, it meant something.
Yeah.
When we look back at other genres of music and culture, from blues to jazz to rock and roll, to R&B, it's all black music, and on to hip hop. When you see those other genres celebrated, I think in the early days it wasn't even a thought. It wasn't a thought in my mind that, to quote Biggie, hip hop would take it this far. And so on the actual day, first of all, I'm happy to be alive every day.
Period.
Thankful.
Yeah.
But to be able to celebrate another birthday, solar year, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
is a beautiful blessing. but this particular one for, hip hop and what it has done for so many people, what it is still doing, um, is something to stand up and to be proud of and to be joyful about. And so, yeah, this particular birthday, it was a little bit different
Yeah.
because of the 50th anniversary of hip hop.
Yes. And let the I know where you were. Let the audience know what what that week of travel, even like you talk about, Chuck never thought that hip hop could take it this far. I saw you a couple days before your birthday
Yeah,
in LA.
yeah,
We were with the Jazz is Dead platform and
yes.
Adrian Young
At the Mind Theater.
at the Mayan Theater. When I went to we won't even talk about it, but at the Mayan Theater. And by time your birthday came that Friday, you were in New York.
Yes, at Lincoln Center, which was my second time performing there. And as a New Yorker, that's a trip. Like if you're if you're if your elementary schools were cultured enough, there was a field trip to go to Lincoln Center.
Wow.
The craziest thing is that, I'm looking at this picture, and three gentlemen in this picture, our graduation was at Lincoln Center. So
What?
yeah, our high school.
I have this on this page because I'm definitely gonna take out a Sharpie and like a fucking hip hop groupie. I'm gonna have Ali hopefully sign this right here. If you are listening, this is the book that I've been having in the background of me every episode this year. It's called Hip Hop Raised Me. Shouts out to Dave Ford. He got this for me on my birthday in 2019. And we were all somber because Nipsey had just passed.
Mm-hmm.
And this has been with me the whole trip of this podcast as well, because
Yeah.
that's when we started in 2019. So I open it periodically, but today when I opened it, this is the first time that again, for people listening, there's a picture here of the Jungle Brothers. um what does it say?
Doing
Our
our own thing.
doing our own dang, not thing,
Dang.
dang. And
Yeah.
this is Tribe. This is Monian and Queen. This is De La. And I have this here, but I wanted you to keep going about knowing that at the Lincoln Center, three of you in this picture
Yeah.
had your graduations
Our high
there.
school graduation. Mike G also attended the same high school, but he was a year ahead of Africa, from the JB's, Q-Tip and I. And
Incredible.
so I thought about that when I was at the Lincoln Center that particular day. I was like, wow, it's crazy. When we graduated, the Jungle Brothers had already released the Straight Out of the Jungle album. So it was kind of like, you know, stardom beginning when you're only 18 and, like just before graduation to graduating. So the fact that we were graduating, it was another level of just pride.
That's insane. I mean, like, not insane, but like, it's almost unbelievable.
Yeah. So at the Lincoln Center. So then when I was there for the Arthur Barakai show, it just kind of was like kind of a full circle and a reminder of the importance of um, being goal oriented, dreaming,
Yeah.
and pursuing in the face of adversity is something that Q-Tip talks about a lot in music.
Yeah.
And as young blacks in America, there's a lot of adversity. And so what we were able to do, and when I say we, I'm not just talking about a Tribe Called Quest, I'm talking about we, the whole, the culture, everything, the way the music was created, the way that Kool Herc blended two pieces of vinyl together, the way that the breakers got on the floor and expressed um, their feelings in the form of dance.
Right.
And the artists, the graffiti artists who didn't have galleries or canvas,
Hmm.
and use the backdrop of the city to be a canvas. How you may feel about it being like vandalism or not, that's beside the point. Um, but just, and then for the rappers, the street poets, um, all of that to go from your bedroom to go from again having a lack of resources from an education perspective, from you know a lot of things. The government maybe setting up some community centers was something that's going to give direction. Like all these things we had to figure out, and this is the result of it. So we um, did something really special. And to be there at Lincoln Center that particular day, it felt good, but also at the same time, it felt like, man, it's not enough.
Hmm. Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Um, it was a great celebration.
Yeah.
There's a Brazilian artist named Arthur Veracai. He had released an album 50 years ago,
Literally 50 years ago.
1973. It was his only album, and um, didn't get the notoriety that I think he should have. And
Yeah.
so, with our company, Jazz is Dead, we give flowers to those luminaries who um, we have discovered through the vessel of hip hop, through the vessel of vinyl culture, through
Mm-hmm.
going and buying records and discovering the emotions and figuring out like, oh, let me sample this, um, and the growth that occurs through art. Um, and so we're there celebrating Arthur, and to see Arthur get his flowers, it was his first U.S. tour. That's crazy. It
50
takes 50
years.
years for you to get to a tour after making an incredible album. And the thing about Arthur as a composer, a musician, is he uses an orchestra. That's something that I've been working with, thanks to my brother Adrian Young, and composing, and just how that takes the music to another level.
Right.
When we listen to the icons of like Quincy Jones, Isaac Hayes, Curtis Mayfield, um, Barry White,
Yeah.
when they use orchestra, it was the
Mm-hmm.
music was sensational and made us feel something we might not have known why
Yeah.
we were feeling what we were feeling.
Yeah.
So Arthur's from that ilk, and it was a celebratory day. It was hot, and people were happy. Adrian did a set, I did a DJ set, and you could feel the energy and the pride and the people. It was a free concert, and for those
Wow.
people who couldn't get in, there was like a bulldozer just happened to be parked out there. People climbed the bulldozers just to watch the show. I played there previously so I think it might have been like 2019,
Mm-hmm.
opening for my brother Raphael Sadiq, who invited me to do a set.
Yeah.
And it was a great time with Raphael, but this just felt different.
Mm-hmm.
And so even the people who at the Lincoln Center who partnered with Jazz is Dead to bring us there, they were like, this is different, And so
Yeah.
you felt all of that. But then for me, at the end, when it's my birthday, so I'm a very thoughtful person.
Yeah.
I didn't have a whole bunch of people come back because I know how complicated it was, and it wasn't about me. It wasn't about Adrian. It wasn't about Drew or Jasmine, who are or Adam, who are the Jazz is Dead board. It's about Arthur Veracai.
Gotcha.
However, there's something that happened there, and I'm not going to really go too deep. I'm sorry to kind of let you guys in, but not.
Mm-hmm.
But it's out of respect because I want to address the person directly for the way they handled the situation that made me go, no matter how far you get, it's still not enough.
Whoa.
To get the respect you should get. And I thought, for 50 years and the way that the show opened and how those people highlighted the important, monumental moment that's happening culturally for New York City.
Hello.
For a place that probably 50 years ago wouldn't really want this kind of energy in the Lincoln Center. For us to be there, so you open it up to ceremonies, acknowledging that made me feel really good and proud.
Absolutely.
But then the way it closed made me feel like, man, you know what? We're thankful, but at the same time, we really got to get our bread up so that we can have our own institutions.
Got you. Got you. And we will probably talk about that off camera. But that's, damn it, that is so what hip hop signifies to me, which is expression in all the ways that you talked about with everything that we know of as the pillars of hip hop, from DJing to b-boy stances and breakdancing to graffiti art to street poets, aka MCs, and in let KRS One tell it, education being a
Mm-hmm.
fifth pillar, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that's where I come in as an edutainer. Let me tell it. But ninth and every, like, people who edutain,
Mm-hmm.
like, we do this at formal institutions, like we really do this. Chairs too, actually. But it's, in my opinion, and you were there, so I would love correction if you would provide it. It feels like hip hop started as a way to express and address disparities, social injustices, maybe choosing to party when I know on the West Coast we could choose to get active and turn up and
Mm-hmm.
make this shit, we could make it crack. You
Yeah.
understand? Like, and I'm not saying only West Coast does that. I'm just owning it as opposed to putting it on anyone else. Instead, let me channel that energy that I would have flocked your house with, or that I would have ran through your neighborhood with. Let me channel that energy into this expression and get it out that way, whether I'm dancing like a b-boy, whether I'm a fine artist like a graffiti artist, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying, without a canvas. That was crazy, where the city is your canvas.
Yeah.
That's a, yeah, I'll journal on that later. But we always leave and I always have to journal when I'm leaving Ali. That's just the way it goes. But even with all of that, we get here 50 years later. Hip hop is the biggest export in media, period, since I want to say about 2018 or 17 is when the actual announcement was made, because the switch was undeniable at that
Mm-hmm.
point. Like Amigos time, it was
Mm-hmm.
around there, let's just say. Um, you can't advertise without fucking with us. You hardly could teach without fucking with
TikTok
us.
would not be TikTok if it weren't for hip
Nigga,
hop.
you can't TikTok without us, which almost every label, if I understand the business correctly, is almost in bed with particularly that app, and other social media as well. But we just said the word TikTok, so that right there. Even after all of the undeniability of what we are with American culture, capitalistic culture, where you have to advertise and sell things, you still get people that be like, okay, but know your place. But we are who we are, and you are who you are, right? The condescension is almost implied.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. We're still waiting for another door to be for us to be allowed to walk through. Like
Nah,
that hip hop wasn't born out of that
no.
to be allowed. And no, let me correct myself. It was born because of that.
Oops.
That we need your permission to be us, like to accept us for who we are. We're the marginalized community.
Yeah,
We don't need permission. We are
we are
God's.
the permission.
We are God's great. Period. Point blank. And so
Period.
that was the way that the night ended for me, and I'm still really bothered by it. I'm motivated
There we are.
by it because I don't need someone else. We don't need
Mm-hmm.
other people to let us into the building. Like we are before the building,
Yeah, absolutely,
and so
absolutely.
we really need to. It's nice to have allies and to be in places
True.
where there's notoriety, where you can blend with other communities. That's
True.
important.
Yeah.
Isolation is not good for any human.
No.
But having our own institutions that are esteemed,
Yeah.
and as prestigious, that offer educational, components
Mm-hmm.
is really important, I think. And after 50 years of cultivating America and adding greatly to America's GDP and globally
Yeah.
to some other countries, if you look at um, the music business of Korea and how I know specifically, talk to Teddy Riley, how he was kind of
Period.
the architect of the music, the black music existing there to the point of where it's K-pop now. Like this is
Mm-hmm.
standing on our shoulders, and the amount of money that's generating.
Mm-hmm.
I think, we should be doing something a little bit differently at this point.
I love it. I love it. And I love that this is well, let me say, I love that the revelation uh, came with the wisdom of your birthday and hip hop turning 50. I'm not happy that it happened on your birthday. I'm not happy it happened, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I'm hearing just the extras that's not being said, and I'm sitting there like,
Yeah, if I said what it was, I'm telling you, like that building would be smoke and people would be upset. But I don't. I'm not one. I am not in the habit of taking social media to
no,
burn buildings down. I
no.
think that there's a time and place to have certain type of conversations to help um, uh, remedy injuries
Yeah,
in a
yeah,
way that then projects and catapults us beyond if we just burnt it down.
period.
Rightfully so, justifiably so,
Yeah,
but at the same time, I try as I age
yeah,
to be long term in my thinking,
yeah.
and so that's the one thing I could definitely say I
Mm-hmm.
learned in being in the hip hop industry is that we're justified in being angry about certain things,
Yes.
but we haven't had the mentors um, to sit us down and go, okay, young blood, like y'all get in the room, let's figure this out, and this is how we do this because we are a community and blah blah blah, and this
Right.
is what we're trying to get.
Right.
You know, the hurt feelings, the emotions, that's real, and you want to address that
Mm-hmm.
and be able to speak towards it. But let's build. And when you don't have that kind of coaching around you, um, it's just a wild emotion
Mm-hmm.
that's unchecked.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also part of the way I'm viewing life has to do with just my belief system as a Muslim.
Yeah.
And, patience is something, compassion is something,
Yes.
that we pray for. We
Yeah.
want mercy, we want forgiveness.
Yes.
We want revenge. We want some
We
get back,
still gangster.
but
No, no,
revenge,
that's not.
like define what revenge looks like.
That's and see, yeah, because when you look at Revenge in a Way, the Tyler Perry creating the table as opposed to asking for permission at your table, that technically, depending on how one would like to view it, could be seen as a form of quote unquote revenge
Yeah,
if you wanted to look at it that way. You know what I'm
exactly.
saying? And with just what I'm the energy of what I'm hearing, even with words unspoken regarding that incident, I think that's uh not to quote Beyonce, but like one of the best revenge is your paper, quote unquote. But the idea being if you have your own capital, your own resources, and you're able, it's like what indie artists are doing to the traditional format of music
Yeah,
industry standards,
yeah,
right? Kind of like, well, if I take this in my own hands and I own my own masters and I license my stuff to you instead of sell it to you or sell out to
mm-hmm,
you 360,
mm-hmm,
720 with some niggas. If I give all my stuff away, you know what I'm saying? Once you start to become more knowledgeable about what the game looks like, that could be considered that. But you left from New York on your birthday. How long after that were you in Japan?
uh, like a day and a half later. Yeah, I went to Tokyo, and Tokyo is one of my favorite cities.
Wow.
Um, in addition to New York City, of course, and Toronto, and London,
And Los Angeles.
and oddly
I
Ho
was
Chi Minh, and I still Don't know why, but Vietnam.
Where is Ho Chi Minh?
It's in Vietnam. It's crazy peaceful. I don't know. It's weird. It's the weirdest thing because
Ho
when
Chi
you, if like, I took a photo and you have like full families, 4 people and a pet, maybe on a moped, and um there are like hundreds of mopeds like in the street, like going, and they're like barely touching. So that doesn't look peaceful, or
Right.
it looks sort of scary and chaotic. But just walking around, I don't know, it was really peaceful. But I was in Tokyo, and blessed to be able to um, share the love for hip hop with the people in Japan. They definitely have always supported um, the hip hop culture.
Big
Have
time.
tried to, they. I don't want to say emulate it. It's just in their soul, in their blood,
Oh
and
yeah.
it doesn't matter if you're in um, Cairo or Paris or Lyon or Bologna or Palestine or Sao Paulo.
Hmm.
Like it's in so many people's soul and spirit. And
Yeah.
so to be able to go there right after was a blessing. I don't take it for granted. I
I
was
love
very
it.
thankful for that. And I know what you're getting at. I stay busy.
Yeah. Been around the world today and night. Like
Yeah,
you go, man.
yeah.
So far as did you see J Rock out there?
Nah, I didn't know he was out there.
I just saw well, I was looking at
Oh,
his Insta.
that's right, because Kendrick played the night. He played the last night, and
Damn it.
I flew out, and I was like, oh, I wanted to see Kendrick. Yeah,
You
so it makes
DJ'd for
sense.
Kendrick for something. Did you not?
I did. American Express
Express.
had like one of those membership only performances,
Very exclusive.
and Kendrick was there. It was
Like 2016, 20, like 2016, 17, 20, maybe 15, 16, somewhere around there.
I think it's for the How to Pimp a Butterfly. But I don't know what year that
Oh,
was.
2015.
Yeah,
It came out
so
2015.
it was like during that campaign, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was dope. I mean, uh, he's got the torch,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
I
and
love him personally.
I was happy to be called on for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I that dovetails me into, well, one, yes, you stay busy. And but it's so weird because I call you Zen Master. Because I feel like whatever piece that this industry has hidden in its corner pockets, you tap into. You've been able to find. I think a part of that is staying out the way.
Yeah, that's just my mom and dad. You know, may my father rest in peace. Really, just them and family unit.
Mm-hmm.
They were both civil rights activists.
Got you.
Um, my mom in her 18 years of age was doing her Black Lives Matter. You know,
I
and,
love it.
and so was my father. That's how they met. Um,
Wow.
and so
Wow.
I just grew up in that kind of environment, which is another reason why I'm super private. Like
Got you.
the stories of my mom saying, yeah, the FBI was knocking on the grandma's door constantly because we were out there.
Right.
You know, it was a different time back then.
Yeah. 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 For sure.
If the FBI is knocking on your door
That's different.
and you're,
Different.
it's different. So
Mm-mm.
um, that's how I grew up. And
Wow.
so, and again, to this man right here, sitting in the picture, Mr. Chris Lighting, may rest in peace. He was
Man.
another warrior out there, and watching Chris navigate the industry coming from the Bronx, he watched it. He saw it.
For sure.
He was there. He saw this being birthed,
Yeah.
and the way that he used his his divine being to protect. You know, you talk about protecting.
Yeah.
Chris was about protecting it, but part of protecting it is owning responsibility.
Hmm.
You know, yourself, and then those who are around you, your community, your family. And if we are in this art form, this culture, this business,
Yeah.
um, then it's making sure you have a goal.
Yeah.
And you know what it takes to get to that.
Got you.
And so, um, yeah, we had fun, but at the same time, like Chris was the first dude to go into his office, and he would be the last person to leave. Like that's how he was, you know.
Got you.
So that's how you go from in Tribe Called Quest. I'm sorry, Buster, you were not Chris's first artist.
Set the record
No,
straight.
no, it's not. I'm not even trying to throw shade. It's just I see him say that. I'm like, yo, but dude, Tribe was before all of this.
Yeah.
So I'll go as far as to say that no beef, it's real. Um, but Chris was that guy, you
Yeah.
know. And when you see someone who is that driven, and you start to sit down and pay attention to um, some of the things he's trying to accomplish
Yeah.
without the resources, without the financial resources, but he has the resources of the talent
Of course.
and the purity of the art form, the purity of the culture.
Yeah.
And then being attached to the violators, which like we don't have enough time to even go into that.
Right.
You make a decision of like, what do you want to do? How you want to get into it? How do you want to mix it up? Like, do you want to be knocking heads out constantly, beating your chest?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you want to find a peaceful chamber? You know, we all had to find a peaceful chamber in order to
Gotcha.
deal with companies who are engaging you, but
Yeah.
they're not wholly supporting you,
Got you.
exploiting you.
Got you.
And so, yeah, I would go to the studio. I go to the club because I like to listen to the music.
Yeah.
I like to see the bodies on the floor shaking, but then I would go back home um, to better my craft,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And Q-Tip was the same way. And so watching the demise of certain people who didn't understand
Mm-hmm.
how destructive it could be to get what you asked for. Like the creators say, "Yep, you wanted it, you got it."
Wow.
And I would see the destruction happen, and I didn't want any parts of that.
Yeah.
Um, and shine the light on myself a lot to try and like find my center.
Yeah.
So that as you open this conversation, so that I can fully be present and understand what that really means.
Yes.
So these are things that in the records, listening to the records sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, there's a song that I talk about a lot from a group called Brainstorm. They have a song called Journey to the Light.
Mm.
Came out in 1978.
Mm.
I used to listen to that record constantly and just dream. Ask your dad about Brainstorm.
Brainstorm. Journey to the
Brainstorm.
light. Okay.
Journey to the
Write that
Light.
for me.
And just everything that was spoken in that song, lyrically, every note the bass player played, every note that the trombone, trumpet player, like everything, every drum fill, every Belita Woods was the lead singer of that group. She went to Parliament after that. The way her melodies just swam through all of that mixture was the foundation of my everyday of striving to be whatever that was,
Mm-hmm.
that they all blended together in that song. I wish you could play it so that people can understand it and
I will.
feel what she was singing, and just all the elements. Like to me, that's my center point. And so, if you listen to that, then things will start to make sense about who I am and what I'm striving towards, and not just by myself, but trying to figure out how to help other people have that level of peace and focus.
You've done that for me in this industry, and you would hear when I would come to the studio, like the other location, but there would be days where I would be like, I don't know what the fuck is going on or what I'm doing regarding, just you and I met with Terrace, and even just a couple months, I believe, or weeks even after you kind of settled in LA,
Yep.
you were on a panel for a hip hop forum that I had created for the first time ever. Um, edutaining, really, you were helping me carry out my budding edutainment career back
Mm-hmm.
then, right? Um, that was right before I got the pharmacy with Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Dre and everybody else. You guys can look that stuff up. Um, but as I was getting into it, I knew Dre before 2015. I knew I did not know Exhibit. I knew Terrace and Battle Cat,
Mm-hmm.
a bunch of people I worked with. I knew since I was like 16, 17, 18. So it wasn't very new, but it was the spotlight of being with Dre
Mm-hmm.
and mixed with the uh beginning of streaming. Like, it literally changed. Apple Music changed how the music industry is done. It was a bunch of newness that I didn't even realize I was in
Mm-hmm.
while it was happening. And the switch up of different people in my personal environment, which I had not experienced, like people who've known me since I was 16, 17, and I know I haven't changed, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
And it's like you're standing next to important people who some folks around you have decided are even more important than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So once they see you standing next to Dr. Dre, or they see you standing next to DJ Premier, even you standing next to Ali Shaheed Muhammad, and everything that you come along with, all of your, legacy, all of a sudden I'm brand new,
Mm-hmm.
or okay, new booty, okay, it must be nice. Hey stranger, can't call nobody no more. I'm like, we talked like once a year before
Yeah.
2014, period.
Yeah.
Or my personal fave, someone told me, oh yeah, the only way she's accepted over there, she must be sucking Dr. Dre's dick. Oh, oh, is that right? You know, in this, I am little sis
Mm-hmm.
to absolutely your word. You can, if you've heard differently, please let me
Never
know.
heard anything other than that. Like, you are who you are. It's so authentic and so real. Like, you don't your level of love and light commands the respect because you give it, and it's received.
Period.
And so I've never heard anything like the fact that you're even saying that. I'm very surprised that people would even think that, especially if it's people that know you. Like, why? Like, that's just uh,
I had to
it's
learn.
despicable
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
people because it doesn't only happen in music business. Like, perfect example, like what we're going through politically right now.
Yes.
You see with your own eyes, and people are so seduced
Hmm. Good word.
um, by their own inner ambitions and ugliness that what is true in the light still, for whatever reason, um, people will allow their inner evil ambitions, their insecurities, allow the energy that they have because they're powerful. We're all powerful to speak bullshit, garbage. Um, and here we are, where we're about to deal with another political bout of
Hmm.
um, the existence of our country and how we will be here, and it matters to me.
Yeah.
And not to like get off the music subject, but just for someone to really twist who you are and to even mouth it with the breath that God has given them when they know better. It's different if you're just ignorant. Like if you ignorant, you get a pass on that ignorant. Let me educate you. Let's talk it through. Let's
Right.
check that off. Check that off. Can we have a conversation? Yeah, but we're at a point where people don't even want to talk. They just want to keep throwing daggers
Yeah.
and spears, but also think that there's not a price to pay for it. And so, to speak ugliness behind your back or in front of your face,
It's goofy. It's goofy. It's weird. And like you said, I had to learn that the length of time someone has known me has no bearings on whether they know me.
yeah, really,
That was what I had to come to
yeah,
grips with. Because
yeah,
sometimes folks know you in ways and to the depth that is convenient for them to know you. Like, oh yeah, why? Oh yeah, shoot. Basically I'm cool with Dr. Dre because I know why. Yeah, basically I basically I was a member of Tribe Called Quest and a Lucy Pearl because I know why, and why I know Ali Shaheed. People are goofy.
yeah,
People are goofy and they want to and I say in the top of the pod, we raise your self-awareness, your vibration, and your capacity for love, which is knowledge. Goes back to the self-awareness piece. When people aren't familiar with whose voices they think are more important than their own, you know what I'm saying? Like people who I've delegated in my own personal life, I might not have even admitted it to myself in the mirror. So I don't really know. That's the ignorance of self, right? So I don't even really know. All I know is I act out when that person doesn't give me attention. Mind you, my first degree is child development and family studies. I know what it's like when the kid drops the baba, whatever baba might be. It could be a toy, it could be a passy, it could be, I'm thinking of my niece right now. Shouts out to Winter Rain. But you throw your thing, and then the parent, if they're not paying attention, will just go get it for them and bring it back.
yeah.
Then they throw it again, and the parent will go get it and bring it back. And with no instruction, the child is recognizing, oh, I got all you niggas in check. Shouts out to Buster again. Woo! Like, I got everybody in check. I'm going to just throw shit. Y'all going to serve me. Everyone's going to serve. That's what an untamed ego in an adult person looks like. When I go under people's comment sections, when I talk crazy because I want Ali Shaheed's attention, actually. So let me say something wildly rude, or let me, Wyann's attention. Let me say something totally off kilter, because at least she's going to acknowledge me then.
Yeah.
It's a child throwing a pacifier. And as the parents in this situation, we don't realize we're being put in parental situations. We can keep giving them what they're looking for, because that's actually going to satiate that anxiety that they're looking to fill, the void. Or we can give you exactly what you think of yourself, which is nothing. That's the other side of it.
I'm more on the side of, can we get in a room and talk about some stuff? But it's not easy to do that, because there are times where I'm just like, yo, I have no problem commenting my address, and you can come right here and we could talk about that thing that but I know that then I'm bringing other energy, and I know that truthfully that entity has no desire to be in peace and harmony within their own soul and spirit. So it's like, then you got to give them the nothingness.
You have to give them the accurate reflection of themselves.
Yeah.
The accurate reflection of themselves is what you think of you, which is nothing.
Yeah.
We just talked about and got into a great topic, or just discussion about your birthday. And then once you realize the part that you couldn't find light to make beauty in it, you said, you know what, that part I'm going to save. Sorry to bring you guys. Your light is so trained. You, Zen Master, you're but it's such a good reflection of, I mean, you could call it self work if you're looking at it
Yeah.
therapeutically, or you could, you're so in touch with your spirituality. And I think that's a grounding thing, like your family unit and things. It's so it's so pure of tone. It's the way I hear, you're going to laugh at this, but I'm not even joking. The way I hear the bass line on Gate 54,
Oh,
that is my favorite thing. I need you to understand that.
Adrian, you hear that?
Yes, sorry. Okay, Adrian Young, my brother, I love you like brilliantly.
Oh.
But like
Mm.
that bass line being played on there, uh everything around it is, in my opinion, but you also know I love the bass like the most in a song. Bass makes the women's hips move. You guys know I'm a hippie chick. Long story, but the thing is, I'm being funny. But the thing is, there's a centralizing, a grounding. I think the bass is very grounding, and I don't I don't doubt that the bass spoke to you and you speak to the bass by accident.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you feel like you play.
Mm.
But not just in that. I'm talking about from Lucy Pearl to Tribe, like any of this stuff, like and the Midnight Hour. That's what I'm referencing with our boy, well, your brother and my great homeboy. I'll look to call you a brother one day if we get that close. Adrian Young, um, you have a very grounding effect in every, what I know, musical entity for your scoring
Mm-hmm.
in Luke Cage and things like that. Talk about another time when I came to your studio when you guys did Luke Cage. I told you this. You guys did Luke Cage. It was at the bottom of 2016. Everyone was feeling a lack of hope because of the election and things like that.
Mm.
That and you, this she was my former student, so now she's
Mm.
my team, and everything. So she was there when you spoke at Hip Hop Forum.
Mm.
You can attest to this. Tell me if I'm lying. That October 31, that Halloween, instead of lots of my boys dressing up like whatever
Mm.
they would dress up like, they all had hoods up because it's 2016. This is Black Lives Matter. This is everyone important from, not everyone important, I don't want to say it like that, but a lot of pivotal individuals from Maurice White on my side, very personal loss for me, Natalie Cole before him, Prince, and then come down to Philando and all of the stuff in Black Lives Matter and the stuff that was happening around that time. It was just it as an educator, as someone who got a new crop of 18-year-olds every semester, it was a time when dealing with the Black Student Success Program and a bunch of Black scholarly boys, to watch the hope and the light leave a bunch of their eyes when
Mm.
they saw what their government, when they saw
Mm.
what their environments thought about them.
Mm.
Then to see on Netflix Luke Cage at the time that you and Ali scored.
Teenager.
You are Ali. Hello. You and Adrian
Sorry.
scored. My bad. Two A's. um, and then to see all of my boys unprompted dressed up as Luke Cage with bullet holes rather,
Mm-hmm.
in hoodies, and the hood up goes back to Trayvon. Hoods up, and all of these boys are Luke Cage. I came to your studio, if not that night or that afternoon when I left the job, the next day,
Yeah,
whenever
I
it
remember
was,
you telling me.
I said, I don't even know what to tell you. Like, you guys did this. Like,
Shout out to Cheo Hadari Coker,
yeah,
the showrunner for Luke Cage. Like
absolutely.
Cheo deliberately put that hoodie there for that reason.
Wow, wow.
Like, I mean, his devotion to the culture and understanding what is against us and how to overcome is so massive. And everything that Cheo went through to deliver Luke Cage, even by calling on Adrian and I, was he knew what the hell he was doing. He's a
Yeah,
very brilliant soul,
yeah.
and he spoke for the culture as a writer through several publications, um, historic hip hop publications. But that was another way for him to speak and to hear that was the response from the hurt and pain that
Yes.
Cheo felt for us as a father, as I'm sitting thinking about it, it makes me a little bit emotional.
Yeah.
Um, but to hear that that's what it inspired says it all, and it is a affirmation to keep doing you. And I'm saying that to you, Cheo, like you a warrior, and they know it. They know you're a warrior. Um, but let that be the reminder um, to keep. It's with the purpose. A lot of us we know what our purpose is,
Yeah.
and some of the beatings we get in trying to, fulfill that purpose
Yeah.
will sometimes bring us down and make us not forget, but it's just you on the mat, and it's like you got to get up. They counting, and you got
Yeah.
to get up. The countdown is death, and so, and sometimes you might be hurting so much you like, yo, F it,
Yeah.
I'd rather die,
Yeah.
than to get up and feel the hardship of living the purpose. But when you're taking the light you have and giving it to those young men and women of America. And we're global artists, but I
Yeah.
speak from the American experience because it's what I live.
Period.
Um, and especially right now,
Yeah.
like we need all the light. These youngins need all the light.
Yeah.
Um, I listen to all sorts of music, and the music that I grew up on, it spoke about love, and like they didn't have what we had in the '60s, the '50s.
Yeah.
But love was paramount, and I think for whatever reason there's a confused idea
Mm.
of what love is and what it's supposed to be, so much so that the young artists are dampening their own light and spirit. And I don't mean any disrespect to anybody out there. I actually heard Dre speaking about this recently,
Yeah.
with Kevin Hart,
Mm.
and I understood where Dre was coming from.
What did he say? I missed that.
Um, I I don't want to misquote him,
Okay.
so go back, people, and watch it. I think the context of was him speaking up for younger artists and for the older artists who put younger artists down.
Got you.
He was saying he's not of that, and that should not be happening. And I agree with Dre.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I also believe that, and as a parent, I'm sure he can understand this. If your child is wilding out, you're going to sit that child down if you care about that child
Sure.
existence to be successful in life and be successful in conquering self. You're going to sit them down. If you care about them,
Yeah.
if you don't care about them, you're going to let your kids spaz out and there's no direction.
No.
And it's just going to be whatever their relationship with the way they are behaving when they're with other individuals, when they're with Earth,
Mm-hmm.
all these other elements, that's going to be. But if a life passes through you, it's your responsibility
Yeah.
to then say, this is what my understanding is. Let me help you.
Got you.
So that you can succeed in
Yes.
being a human being. We often think, you want your children to be successful. Like, first of all, they should be successful as just being a human. And what does that mean? So if you don't have children, you may be a brother to someone, a big uncle, a big auntie.
Yeah.
And when it comes to hip hop, it's hard sometimes. And I'm not trying to put down people, but it's just like, yo, sit down. Where are you going with this?
Yeah.
Like, where's the light?
Yes.
Because there's light, and there's fertile soil, and then there's soil that nothing's going to ever grow out of.
Truth.
Nothing. No food.
Truth.
You're not going to ever eat from that, ever.
No.
So where you planting your seeds, what soil you planting your seeds in, what's going to grow out of it, something that you can eat from or something that's going to poison you.
Yeah.
Um, and so I try to take the lessons I learned
Yeah.
and um, try to be healthy with my interactions with
I think
as
you
many
are.
people as possible. I don't get it right. I'm no saint, you know. One of the other things that because you describing me to an extent, I'm thinking about it.
Yes.
I'm like, you know, another growing moment was hearing um, sometimes Viper Q-Tip say, "You don't want to get Ali angry,"
Oh.
and I'm like, when I would hear that, I'm like, "Am I a monster?" You know, and I'm not a monster.
No.
I'm very peaceful. I always have been. But when you like get me that upset, then it's just like, okay, you know, there's a problem. And so even if for someone who's peaceful, who um, where there's steps
Right.
to the escalation
Yes.
of me then displaying a different side. But even in that, as a peaceful person, like how can I be more peaceful?
Yeah.
You know, how can I? As a Muslim, we pray, we ask for patience.
Mm.
How can I be more patient?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and patient in a healthy way.
Yeah.
Because you can be so patient that then you're like you're not responding to things when you should be responding because you're like, oh no, I'm in this Zen state of
Mm-hmm.
mind. It's like, no, you're at this point now. You pass the threshold.
Yeah.
It it inspires a different response.
Yes.
So that's what I'm trying to
A good balance.
focus on is, um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
growing, just growing up.
Your, I know we're getting towards that. Uh, I'm thinking of as you've, in my opinion, grown in this industry, and as a man, I'm sure there's a outside of Zen Master. The other thing I see when I think of you is reinvigorate,
Mm,
reinvention, and real growth, actually.
mm,
And I say that from A Tribe Called Quest, which is the way I learned you, of course, when I tried to tell my dad that sucker nigga was red clay,
mm-hmm,
that Freddie Hubbard copied y'all, and dad was not happy about that as a jazz pianist. Um, then to when I'm in my late teens, early 20s, and I can go out and I can like groove with people and then I can dance tonight, and I'm out and doing stuff. Then of course the very West Coast version of me gets the all I really want is you,
mm-hmm.
and we all, crip walk all over your song. Sorry about that. But
I think Battlecat did that.
that, well, yeah,
So
Battle Cat, I just think
yeah,
of Lucy Pearl.
yeah,
I just
yeah,
think of y'all,
yeah.
and I think of the fact that, like, I'm like, yo, when I first ever see, way before I knew you, I'm talking about me as a teenager, I'm like, isn't this Tribe Called Cool? And it made me pay more attention. Mind you, I've always loved Raphael since Tony, but it made me pay attention seeing you there. And I'm like, well, what's happening here? And just without you, I can't walk. Then Dilla doing a remix to that didn't help
Mm-hmm.
anything because that shit. Come on now, uh, like I'm walking through your history on purpose and seeing the evolution. That's the other word I wanted for you. Evolutionary, reinvigorating, vitalizing, reinvention, and growth and evolutionary. These are all words that I tie to what I've observed from you going forward. You talked about when you spoke about that beautiful message to Cheo, you spoke about purpose,
Mm-hmm.
doing your gift with your purpose. And what I wanted to ask you, as you're doing Jazz is Dead, Midnight Hour, and all of the many ways we can hear you in publication, rather, in sitcoms or
Mm,
shows or Marvel things. But really, what I mean to say is your scoring,
mm-hmm.
your career as a person who scores. There's a lot of reinvention. And from what I'm doing as I'm reinventing and learning how to navigate my purpose and the different assignments that come along with my purpose, not confusing my purpose for any of my assignments, there's a lot of courage
Mm,
that I need. It's the word I journaled about earlier today. There's a lot of naysayers, there's a lot of
mm,
doubt, there's a lot of people that will attempt to break your spirit in
mm,
different ways than hip hop tried to, or
mm,
the doors that may have been open, closed, shut, whatever. Like, I just want to hear how you've navigated, how you've done like that vocal you were talking about in the
mm,
song and
mm-hmm.
swam through this industry, through these different art forms. Every part of your legacy is its own legacy. Like Lucy
Yeah.
Pearl was its own thing. A tribe, we don't have to talk about that. We know what that means to us in hip hop. And then I'm looking at what you're doing with Adrian and even how you guys record analog and you guys keep the fidelity of shit. Like all of this is like, I know that there has to be some part of this where he gets scared sometimes, or maybe feel not gets scared, but you can be aware of this could be scary. This could be, there are maybe people who might doubt or might
Mm,
try to naysay or
mm-hmm.
close. How do you choose courage over and over?
Um, that's a very good question. Why? I'll say this that there are a couple of things. I am not a self-driven person.
Got you.
I'm a hell of a team player, and if I'm on the team, chances are we're gonna win.
Yes.
Because it's not about me. If I'm on the team, I'm about the team.
Yeah, you
Um,
are.
I'm really, it's really hard, like hard to really like underscore that,
Yeah.
and that's an important asset because we all want to win, um, but everybody doesn't want to see everybody else winning. And I'm just one of those individuals who actually wants to see everybody win.
1,000%.
So that's a huge part of the element. Um, and often in that case, I'm in great environments, and sometimes um, I might not play my position the way someone wants me to play my position.
Got you.
And that's not a conflict for me. It just creates conflict because I believe in my purpose and I believe in my being here,
Yeah.
and I believe in my ability and skill set. And I trust that I want to do better. I want myself to be better than whatever someone else may want from me.
Yeah.
So that means I'm going to then go do what it takes for me to get to that point. And
Yeah.
so again, that's another great asset to have. Um, when you're in those environments like that though, and it might not be so supportive and people might not see you the way that you see yourself.
Hmm.
And not that people want to be a puppeteer, but just in the way that they show their level of support and their level of being down. They're trying to be a puppeteer. They don't know it, but I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I also am not one to like lash out at somebody for them being how they are and they can't help it.
Yeah.
Um, that then becomes motivation for me to not necessarily move on, but it becomes motivation for me to keep on my path,
Got you.
regardless of the beatdown, regardless of the triumphs. It's like
Hmm.
you can't stop because we all are not winning.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the struggle continues. So there's an element of the struggle continues, and even if I'm doing okay, like everyone else around me has to be doing better than me,
Yeah.
and that's not the case. So there's a frustration. It's like what there's that becomes it's frustration, but it turns into a drive. Of like, all right, cool. Now I'm over here doing it. And it looks like I'm doing it on self, but I'm not.
Hmm.
I'm not. It's just this space here didn't even understand the level of an asset that it had, and so I have to kind of like go in this other direction. I'm always ready for the call. So there's that element of it, but let me go back to the bigger part of the question.
Yeah.
As a kid, I was in environments that were, put it to you this way, and I've never spoken about this. I had saved my mother's life from someone trying to kill her. So that
Really?
shaped a lot of my way of seeing the world and my level of survival. And because of that experience, I had to grow up. I was 8 years old.
Got you.
So seeing life in that capacity at that age, um, it can really do a lot to a child.
Yeah.
What it did for me was sharpen my level of responsibility or feeling responsible. It
Sure.
sharpened, um, I said before, survival,
Yeah. Big time.
um, the ability to focus and to really tune out everything that's preventing you from, for me in that moment, it was everything that was preventing me from helping. Um, and the sole focus was to help. You know, and so I've carried those traits of what happened in that moment.
Absolutely.
Um, and it's helped me figure out what my purpose is and how to navigate all the energies that you come in contact with.
Yeah.
Friendly energies, energies that don't mean you any harm, but they harm you.
Yeah.
And that's the most difficult one
I was gonna say
because
that might be
because your
challenging.
heart is attached to it,
Yeah.
um, and that's the most challenging one to really fine tune
Yeah.
so that it is no longer an obstacle. Um, so when you talk about like reinventing myself, again, it's I want the team to win,
Yeah.
and you know, other thing, people write when they mention my name now when they speak about the things I'm working on, like scoring or Jazz is Dead, they go Ali Shaheed Muhammad, formerly of a Tribe Called Quest, and it's such a disappointment that you journalists have never ever. I don't even know why you say that. I have never left a Tribe Called Quest.
Ever.
I still carry
Ever.
Tribe's flag, and it is that legacy and what we've established and built is vital and important to Kamal, aka Q-Tip,
Right.
uh, Disha, who's Malik's widow,
Mm.
and I. And
Yeah.
so I carry that flag, and we all want to see each other win.
Absolutely.
We still like what we talk about that the world doesn't know. Like we want to see all of us internally as a unit win, but it's not just us. It's always still about this culture.
Yes.
Um, and the behind the scenes conversations that I know Kamal has with different up and coming artists and that I have is for the survival. of us. So that's the driving point. And no matter which skin I may be in,
Yeah.
you know, if my brother, Mr. Sadiq, is like, yo, Tribe Called Quest sample Sly and the Family Stone, and as a kid from the Bay who always loved East Coast, that just made me fall in love with y'all, and then that turns into a family relationship that then turns into, yo, I have this idea for this group. All these little things
Yeah.
is me going with the flow, understanding my purpose and what I love to do. I love making music, and I love being in a room full of people who were trying to figure out how to erect what will hopefully be a building that stands the duration of time that the creator will allow it to stand.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's really it, the reinvention. It's, I don't know. People say that. I don't look at it as me reinventing myself. It's my purpose is always the same. You
Yeah.
know, to take care of my family, to be responsible.
Yeah.
To help my community. And the biggest goal,
Yeah.
ambition, is to have something that can't be helped. Only the creator can help, and that's in my final rest. May whatever it was I did here be enough to get me to my soul. Whatever you believe in, I believe in that my soul will be somewhere.
Yeah.
In a place that's filled with peace, no worries.
Yeah.
Harmony through all existence, from a blade of grass to a whole bunch of ants that I just killed last night because I didn't want them to invade my studio. But hopefully when we get to another place, like, the ants will look at me and be like, yo, I know what you did to my, yo. But the Almighty was like, yo, you had to do that. So we good. We good. All of these things I think about, and that our people will be free.
That's that. Who's that?
Donny Hathaway.
Donnie, like, for sure.
It's really, really love, and that we have love, and that we free here, man. Like here, not like in some other idea of an afterlife, but here.
Right.
Here, that we all are free, that there are no insecurities. Oh shoot, I am late for a meeting.
But you were in, and I was not about to cut your wisdom. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I have to leave it there because this is a huge Zoom. I'm going to sign off. Thank you, Wyann, for bringing me to your Raise It Up squad and family and love peoples.
I love you.
Thank you all for 30 plus years of listening and allowing the music to rock with you in any way. And I mean, I can't do it by myself. I know a lot of people out there are on the same mission. We need this vibration more now than ever. We all see what's going on in the world, and every age has its troubles. But I can't worry about what happened in history even yesterday. Yesterday's done. It's a wrap. I can't go back to it. No. So let's just vibrate together to get this freedom. You know.
Y'all, Ali Shaheed Muhammad. I try not to scream in his room, in his space. It is a studio. It's soundproof,
this
though.
This place is made to make noise. So
I just did that. Okay, so what we're gonna do is put a pin in this so I can make sure that this man gets to some obligations, and I'll do the pay your dues and different stuff on another take. But thank you so much for listening in. Love culture. Thank this man in the comments. Make sure that you are following his pages. Jazz is Dead, at Jazz is Dead, as well as at Ali Shaheed, spelled all correctly. Say it in your phone; it'll spell it the correct way. If you don't know who this man is, I don't know. I mean, I'm thankful that you're listening, but I don't know why you're listening. But no, I'm messing with you. Guys, let's let this man go. I'll see y'all in a minute. Raise it up, 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 raise it up. Had an amazing conversation that was like a get raised, as well as the goodness break it down for hip hop that happened all rolled in one in that conversation with Ali Shaheed. Y'all know what we do after that. Again, no Wyann's words of wisdom. I want all the words that were wise to be spoken by Mr. Zen Master himself, aka Ali Shaheed. However, we are going to get into some pay ya dues. It means so much more, that we are here to explore. We have Bonita Afro Bomb. Y'all know we talk about this all the time because this is the first product of my cousin Maya's. You learned that 2 episodes ago. And to be in another part of Ali's studio where Bonita Applebomb, you gotta put me on. Bonita Applebomb, I said, you gotta put me on. A Tribe Called Quest created that song, as you heard from the horse's mouth, from a current, not former, member of this hip hop pioneering group. My cousin Maya Smith created her first product of the Do hair care line, and I'm just, what a full circle moment, you know? And that's how it feels for me. This whole year for hip hop and me and my identity and who and how I am, it all feels like that. So again, shouts out to my cousin Maya Smith. There she is, as always. And thankful for this space again, for the look of these braids. My hair lady at Hair by Quista. Oh, these products are at I Love the Do, because Onet is right there and I keep forgetting to shout things out. At I Love the Do on Instagram and all other platforms. What I've been using for these wonderful, not goddess braids, what do you call this? Like bohemian, BOGO, buy one, get one braids. That's not what I have. Sorry, Hair by Quista. At Hair by Quista, HAIRBYQUISTA, at Hair by Quista. I use my misdemeanor from the Do to kind of give more shine back to the look, and for some honey conditioner, I use from the Beeline Crazy Sexy Curl to help this look. Could you please take these? Because they are getting heavy as I have nothing to put them on. I haven't been doing arm exercises all day. Yes, I have. No, so I have also that I wanted to shout out outside of my cousin on one side, Hair by Quista. Wait, no, Hair by Quista, not my cousin. Maya Smith, my cousin on one side, as well as Hair by Quista, my hair lady since what, 05 or something like that. My other cousin at KBC Custom Clothing, my cousin Caleb Carter is the personal touch to the look that you just saw on Ali Shaheed. He also personally styles and tailors clothes for his Jazz Is Dead, as well as the Midnight Hour partner, Adrian Young. You also know my cousin's work because he styled TJ and custom created TJ's all gold outfit. That's a very feminine word. I don't know any gentleman that be like, yeah, man, my outfit, bro. So TJ's suit that he wore on the cover of his album, feature presentation, TJ Wilkins, all of these beautiful styles were created custom by the same individual, my cousin Caleb Carter. So thankful that he is as amazing as he is as a relative to me, but also I'm very thankful for where life has allowed him to really have an intersection with my music friends. I did not introduce him to the Midnight Hour, Adrian Young and Ali Shaheed. He was able to create that avenue for a relationship on his own. And from that, I've been able to leverage hopeful other interactions that he might be able to make in this industry with other amazing men who enjoy being styled customly. So my cousin, I love you. I'm so proud of you. And clearly, Ali looks amazing in your designs. So please continue doing you. So we have paid dues to my cousins. I love the do at ILOVETHEDOUX. My dyslexia is having so much fun today. My cousin Caleb at KBC Custom Clothing. My hair lady with these beautiful boho braids. I think I'm Lisa Bonet. Lisa Bonet is Kravitz's mom, Zoe Kravitz. And I think that I look like, this is a Zoe Kravitz thing. Yeah, but I think I'm Lisa Bonet because I'm grown.
What'd you say?
Number 3, I would like to, because I always do my hair people as one. So my hair people is one, Caleb is one. And then number 3, as always, Ali Shaheed at ALISHAHEED at Ali Shaheed on all platforms. Please be sure to just remark how you enjoyed this talk that we had on today's episode all over his timeline, all over his platforms for the next few weeks. I think he would really enjoy that as a belated birthday gift, not only from hip hop, because we are a hip hop broadcast, but also as just loves and love culture and what we do, you know? So if you're going to also follow that, number 4, I want you to make sure you are looking at Jazz is Dead. That is the newest endeavor that Ali Shaheed and Adrian Young have partnered on with a few others. It's where we saw the gentleman that he was speaking about. I think it's Arturo. Don't worry about that. You can go look on his page and see who it was. Hello. But giving flowers to amazing art that has been around for decades and is only just now getting its flowers. That's what the platform Jazz is Dead sort of stands for. So that's one right there. Also, the Midnight Hour at THE Midnight Hour, the Midnight Hour, spell it all correctly with an underscore at the end. That is the music that Adrian Young and Ali Shaheed have created together. My favorite song of theirs, outside of what I mentioned in the episode Gate 54, my other favorite song on that album features Ladybug from Diggable Planets. And it's a very short song, under 2 minutes, but I think that it just sounds like genius. It gives me the feel of what I heard in Luke Cage when I was really jamming out, especially to that first season of Luke Cage with Snake Eyes. Woo! That was such a good doggone. Okay, anyways, I'm fanning out. I'm gonna go watch that later. Last but never least thing that I want to shout out is the platform you're watching at Raise It Up Y, RAISEITUPWY. All the love, say rockets up on these hoes. Make sure that you know the type of change Ali was talking about, the type of love and light that we need as a culture and in this industry. That is exactly what my purpose on this planet is here to do and bring. I am here, I exist to help introduce people to their worth. What people? All people, with a priority on especially Black and brown young men, like the ones that started hip hop culture as we know it, all right? Rap music and hip hop and what we look at as rap music within hip hop, the actual origins come all the way back to West Africa, the longer story than we have time for. But as we know rap music via hip hop culture, that 100% started in 1973. to put one specific year on it. And with 50 years under our belts, as we heard from Ali, we've done a lot, but there's a lot more to do. I have a cousin who does hair products that gives extra life to hip hop figures. Mist Demeanor is the oil I put on my hair in honor of Missy. Crazy Sexy Curl is a nod to the multi-platinum winning record from TLC, which was called Crazy Sexy Cool. Bonita Afro Balm is a play on A Tribe Called Quest's Bonita Apple Bum. However hip hop affects you and you can add it into your art, bruh, do it. Do it. Like, this is a culture that reaches so much more and so many more than anyone had ever intended. So however it is for you, Ninth Wonder and I would be called edutainers. I'm a therapeutic edutainer, where he's an edutainer with an athletic aspect, as he works with Nike and Duke University's basketball team, things like that. It's still our own flavor. We're both edutainers, but we still have our own flavors, you know? So I'm floored at today's episode. I feel amazing. I'm gonna go home and journal about this. I'm so thankful for y'all being here. Emotions have a few shows left. If you all are listening to this, we are touring all the way through October at The Emotions Legacy on Instagram. Check there. A lot of where we're going to be will be on there, especially after You My Little Boo Thing. Shouts out to Paul Russell. You'll be seeing more of us out and things. So make sure that you all are tapped in, tuned in, and turned on. And thank you all for being a part of this. Stay real, y'all. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up. Raise it up, why? Hey, raise it up. Hey, raise it up, why? Raise it up.